Hey everyone, here is an introduction to a few technical concepts and terms that you'll need to know in order to understand how computers store imagery digitally. There are two primary ways of storing digital imagery, raster and vector. You're probably familiar with raster imagery. It's the one that uses pixels to store and display image information. Vector graphics, on the other hand, are constructed using shapes. These shapes are built from anchor points that are stored mathematically. When drawing the graphics, the computer uses math to interpolate between the points and define the shapes. With enough shapes, you can create very detailed illustrations. When a vector image needs to be displayed on a computer monitor, it is first converted into pixels. However, the original vector data can be infinitely resized or otherwise transformed. An image's resolution is important for dictating how large and how detailed it will be. The resolution is an image's width and height in pixels, but it also includes a measurement of how many pixels equal 1 inch. We can call this ratio pixels per inch, or dots per inch. Commonly, computers conform to a standard ratio of 72 pixels per inch. However, if you are designing print media, you'll want a higher resolution for better quality. Both 150 dpi and 300 dpi are common for print. Some digital devices seek the clarity and fidelity of print media by having displays with higher dpi. Instead of 72 dpi, many of Apple's devices have 326 dpi. There are a variety of digital approaches for representing and storing color. Most commonly, you'll see RGB and CMYK. The first approach is RGB, wherein each color has 3 color channels: a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. Each of these channels stores a number. The larger the number, the more we use that channel's color to mix the final color of the pixel. RGB is an additive approach to color. So when each channel is 0, we get black. But as we increase and mix together the channels, we get closer and closer to white. If you are designing digital media, be sure to use RGB because many programs like web browsers don't support CMYK. The second approach, CMYK, uses 4 color channels: a cyan channel, a magenta channel, a yellow channel, and a black channel. This is a subtractive approach to color, so we go from white to black as we add more color. We use CMYK for printer ink, so it makes sense if we're designing media that is going to be printed. So if you are in fact designing anything for print, be sure to use CMYK as it will produce more reliable and more consistent colors with printer ink. Let's compare some common image file types. Some file types compress an image down in such a way that the image is permanently damaged. These lossy compressions trade off quality for a smaller file size. In contrast, other file types use lossless compression, which reduces an image's file size without damaging the image data. Bitmap images are completely uncompressed. They are a lossless format, but they have a very large file size. In fact, bitmaps are generally too large in file size to be practical. JPEG images use an algorithm to compress the pixel information down and create a smaller file size. JPEGs are great for the internet, but they are a lossy format. Never compress a project's assets using JPEG. Editing and resaving a JPEG will introduce more artifacts, further damaging the image. Also, JPEGs don't typically support alpha channels. GIF or GIF images use a compression algorithm that uses a color table. Each pixel in a GIF image has to be a color in the color table. This approach can help tremendously reduce file size if the image doesn't have that many colors. Also, the GIF format only supports color tables with 256 colors, so they are definitely a lossy compression for high color images. Finally, GIFs don't support alpha channels, so they're not a good match for images with transparency. PNG images also use a color table approach, but the color table expands to accommodate all of the colors in the document, and it supports alpha channels. This makes PNG a great lossless format. Targa images are also lossless, they have alpha channels, and they support CMYK. TIFF images are lossless, support alpha channels, support CMYK, and support having multiple layers. For vector image formats, there are Illustrator files, EPS files, and SVG files. This has been a quick look at just some of the technology and terms behind digital imagery. Thank you very much for watching.